Spoon River Anthology by Edgar Lee Masters. The Hill. Where are Elmer, Herman, Bert, Tom, and Charlie, the weak of will, the strong of arm, the clown, the boozer, the fighter? All are sleeping on the hill. One passed in a fever, one was burned in a mine, one was killed in a brawl, one died in a jail, one fell from a bridge toiling for children and wife. All are sleeping, sleeping, sleeping on the hill. Where are Ella, Kate, Mag, Lizzie, and Edith? The tender heart, the simple soul, the loud, the proud, the happy one? All are sleeping on the hill. One died in shameful childbirth, one of a thwarted love, one at the hands of a brute in a brothel, one of a broken pride and search for heart's desires. One, after life in faraway London and Paris, was brought to her little space by Ella and Kate and Mag. All are sleeping, sleeping, sleeping on the hill. Where are Uncle Isaac and Aunt Emily and old Towny Kincaid and Seveny Houghton and Major Walker, who had talked with venerable men of the Revolution? All are sleeping on the hill. They brought them dead sons from the war and daughters whom life had crushed, and their children fatherless, crying. All are sleeping, sleeping, sleeping on the hill. Where is old Fiddler Jones, who played with life all his 90 years, braving the sleet with bared breast, drinking, rioting, thinking neither of wife nor kids, nor gold, nor love, nor heaven? Lo, he babbles of the fish fries of long ago, of the horse races of long ago at Clary's Grove, of what Abe Lincoln said one time at Springfield. Hod put, here I lie close to the grave of old Bill Pearsall, who grew rich trading with the Indians and who afterwards took the bankrupt law and emerged from it richer than ever. Myself, grown tired of toil and poverty, and beholding how old Bill and others grew in wealth, robbed a traveler one night near Proctor's Grove, killing him unwittingly while doing so, for the which I was tried and hanged. That was my way of going into bankruptcy. Now we who took the bankrupt law in our respective ways sleep peacefully side by side. Ollie McGee. Have you seen walking through the village a man with downcast eyes and haggard face? That is my husband, who, by secret cruelty never to be told, robbed me of my youth and beauty, till at last, wrinkled and with yellow teeth and with broken pride and shameful humility, I sank into the grave. But what, think you, gnaws at my husband's heart? The face of what I was, the face of what he made me, these are driving him to the place where I lie. In death, therefore, I am avenged. Fletcher McGee. She took my strength by minutes, she took my life by hours, she drained me like a fevered moon that saps the spinning world. The days went by like shadows, the minutes wheeled like stars. She took the pity from my heart and made it into smiles. She was a hunk of sculptor's clay, and my secret thoughts were fingers. They flew behind her pensive brow and lined it deep with pain. They set the lips and sagged the cheeks and drooped the eyes with sorrow. My soul had entered in the clay, fighting like 7 devils. It was not mine, it was not hers. She held it, but its struggles modeled a face she hated, and a face I feared to see. I beat the windows, shook the bolts, I hid me in a corner, and then she died and haunted me and hunted me for life. Robert Fulton Tanner. If a man could bite the giant hand that catches and destroys him, as I was bitten by a rat while demonstrating my patent trap in my hardware store that day, but a man can never avenge himself on the monstrous ogre life. You entered the room that's being born, and then you must live, work out your soul. Aha, the bait that you crave is in view, a woman with money you want to marry, prestige, place, or power in the world. But there's work to do and things to conquer. Oh yes, the wires that screen the bait. At last you get in, but you hear a step. The ogre life comes into the room. He was waiting and heard the clang of the spring to watch you nibble the wondrous cheese and stare with his burning eyes at you and scowl and laugh and mock and curse you, running up and down in the trap until your misery bores him. Cassius Hoofer. They have chiseled on my stone the words, his life was gentle and the elements so mixed in him that nature might stand up and say to all the world, this was a man. Those who knew me smile as they read this empty rhetoric. My epitaph should have been, life was not gentle to him, and the elements so mixed in him that he made warfare on life, in the which he was slain. While I lived, I could not cope with slanderous tongues. Now that I am dead, I must submit to an epitaph graven by a fool. Sarepta Mason. My life's bosom might have bloomed on all sides, save for a bitter wind which stunted my petals. On the side of me, which you in the village could see, from the dust I lift a voice of protest. My flowering side you never saw. You living ones, ye are fools indeed, who do not know the ways of the wind and the unseen forces that govern the processes of life. Amanda Barker. Henry got me with child, knowing that I could not bring forth life without losing my own. In my youth, therefore, I entered the portals of dust. Traveler, it is believed in the village where I lived that Henry loved me with a husband's love, but I proclaim from the dust that he slew me to gratify his hatred. Chase Henry. In life, I was the town drunkard. When I died, the priest denied me burial in holy ground, the which redounded to my good fortune, for the Protestants bought this lot and buried my body here close to the grave of the banker Nicholas and of his wife Priscilla. Take note, ye prudent and pious souls, of the cross-currents in life which bring honor to the dead who lived in shame. Judge Summers. How does it happen, tell me, that I, who was most erudite of lawyers, who knew Blackstone and Coke almost by heart, who made the greatest speech the courthouse ever heard, and wrote a brief that won the praise of Justice Breeze, how does it happen, tell me, that I lie here unmarked forgotten, while Chase Henry, the town drunkard, has a marble block topped by an urn, wherein nature, in a mood ironical, has sown a flowering weed? Benjamin Pantier. Together in this grave lie Benjamin Pantier, attorney at law, and Nig, his dog, constant companion, solace, and friend. Down the gray road, friends, children, men, and women, passing one by one out of life, left me till I was alone with Nig for partner, bedfellow, comrade, and drink. In the morning of life I knew aspirations and saw glory. Then she, who survives me, snared my soul with a snare which bled me to death, till I, once strong of will, lay broken, indifferent, living with Nig in a room back of a dingy office. Under my jawbone is snuggled the bony nose of Nig. Our story is lost in silence. Go by, mad world. Mrs. Benjamin Pantier. I know that he told that I snared his soul with a snare which bled him to death, and all the men loved him, and most of the women pitied him. But suppose you are really a lady and have delicate tastes, and loathe the smell of whiskey and onions, and the rhythm of Wordsworth's ode runs in your ears, while he goes about from morning till night repeating bits of that common thing. Oh, why should the spirit of mortal be proud? And then suppose you are a woman well endowed, and the only man with whom the law and morality permit you to have the marital relation is the very man that fills you with disgust every time you think of it, while you think of it every time you see him. That's why I drove him away from home to live with his dog in a dingy room back of his office. Reuben Pantier. Well, Emily Sparks, your prayers were not wasted. Your love was not all in vain. I owe whatever I was in life to your hope that would not give me up, to your love that saw me still as good. Dear Emily Sparks, let me tell you the story. I passed the effect of my father and mother. The milliner's daughter made me trouble, and out I went into the world, where I passed through every peril known of wine and women and joy of life. One night, in a room in the Rue de Rivoli, I was drinking wine with a black-eyed coquette, and the tears swam into my eyes. She thought they were amorous tears, and smiled for the thought of her conquest over me. But my soul was 3,000 miles away in the days when you taught me in Spoon River, and just because you could no more love me, nor pray for me, nor write me letters, the eternal silence of you spoke instead, and the black-eyed coquette took the tears for hers, as well as the deceiving kisses I gave her. Somehow, from that hour, I had a new vision. Dear Emily Sparks. Emily Sparks. Where is my boy, in what far part of the world? The boy I loved best of all in the school, I, the teacher, the old maid, the virgin heart, who made them all my children. Did I know my boy aright, thinking of him as spirit aflame, active, ever aspiring? Oh, boy, for whom I prayed and prayed, in many a watchful hour at night. Do you remember the letter I wrote you, of the beautiful love of Christ? And whether you ever took it or not, my boy, wherever you are, work for your soul's sake, that all the clay of you, all the dross of you, may yield to the fire of you, till the fire is nothing but light, nothing but light.